Have you ever tried, explaining something to a toddler, and in their mind, because they've only been breathing oxygen for so long, they think that they know what they're talking about, right? So they have no common sense. There's no common sense. There's no thinking outside of the box. It's just you're trying to explain to them, and they don't even understand the words that you're using because they're so little. They're so young. They're so naive, or they are so indoctrinated or completely brainwashed. It also applies with those things too. So when I was trying to explain to this little kid about my experience in the Mormon church and what it was like when the Mormon church was pushing women to get married in their 20s or late teens, or what we went through with, being shamed for maybe dressing a certain way, and that we were the problem with men's schmornography addiction. It was like a different time. And I said, this, dude's got this privilege, but again, let's just look. You're probably 40, thank you, same age as my parents. None of them had this problem. Well, that's great. Good for them. I don't wish people to have the same problems with the Mormon church that thousands of others like myself did. That's not what I'm hoping for. It's great if they didn't have these problems. They probably grew up in a different area than I did. But that doesn't mean that my experience didn't happen. That doesn't mean that the thousands of people who had problems in the Mormon church didn't have their trauma. I did not grow up entitled or privileged. Okay, here's where it gets funny. I grew up with very little money and didn't say that it didn't happen. So, yeah, privilege and entitlement, that's where your naivety comes in. When it comes to the Mormon church, when I say that you're privileged, I'm saying you were one of the lucky ones that probably lived in a little bubble, that probably, never had anyone SA you, or your father didn't do certain things to you, or I could just keep going. And great, good for you. But what I'm saying is that thousands of people have. So when you're telling me to get my shit, my shit's straight. I know what happened to myself and a lot of people in the Mormon church, sweetie. This is where you're not understanding. I'm not talking about entitlement. I'm saying kids your age think that they know all about stuff when they really haven't lived at all. And great for your parents. Sounds like, I'm not wishing that anybody went through the shit that, thousands of other people have been traumatized by because of the Mormon church. I'm saying my story's real, and I'm not gonna shut up about it, because it's helped a lot of people be able to come and tell their story of what they went through and what their father did to them, or their bishop did to them, or their bishop's interview that was completely inappropriate, that was just a girl and her bishop and him asking her to give her details of maybe a schmexual experience that, he needs to know about. That's disgusting, dude. And it's absolutely disgusting. And you, trying to silence people is disgusting also. Because you're thinking, oh, it gives my church a bad name. Yeah, it should. Because it's not all glitter and rainbows shooting out of a prophet's ass or some shit. So, sweetie, go learn some shit. Maybe read the CES letter or something. I don't know. It sounds like you're pretty brainwashed. Sounds like you're pretty young. Sounds like you're just repeating things like a robot, because that's how they want you to be in the Mormon church. They want you to be little replicas, cookie cutter versions of, each other. Did you know that the Mormon church is almost $1 trillion corporation? It's not even a religion. It's a business. A business that scares people into paying their tithing by saying you will not be with your families forever unless you have a full tithing paid. Do you know how disgusting that is? They have so much money, so much land that they can help their members with, but they don't. And if you want to live in La La Land like a little princess, then cool. I get it. I bet it makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. But the reality is that there's monstrosities that have happened in the Mormon church that continue to happen. They get swept under the rug. They have a special lawyer for it. and you just want to like, oh, don't trash my precious, precious cult. That's what you probably should think about. So quit coming at me. Quit coming up with your ridiculous, because you're just a kid. You don't know anything about anything. Your parents probably kept a lot from you because they don't want you to know. That's how, like, the majority of Mormon parents are. Either they're, super, super sheltering you because they don't want you to know about this shit, or they're, abusing you and, like, we won't tell anybody. Daddy's a good person. He just has problems. Right? And if you're saying that it didn't happen, then what is your point? What is your point then? If you're saying that, if you're like, I didn't say that this didn't happen to you, but what are you trying to do though? What are you trying to prevent? Huh? I'm speaking facts. I'm speaking reality. You want to live in your little bubble where you have your ass wiped for you every day, just to, feel good and whatever. I get it. There's a lot like that. I get it. I know. Yeah. Go back to your mommy, little boy.